Thanks for staying with us at STL Live. I'm Sarah Bernard, and my guest is Wally Siewert of Focus St. Louis, which is a very important organization right here in St. Louis that broadens the conversation from local community to broad national things that are going on in our country. And you've got an event coming up March 29th that talks about that conversation, that national.
That's right. March 29th at University of Missouri St. Louis. If you're interested in how we make changes in this country, despite some of the political gridlock that you see out there, we're going to have some really interesting keynotes, as we mentioned earlier. Also, some people who fund change in the region, some of the foundation heads are going to come and talk about how they approach these issues, as well as people who have built coalitions across ideological lines for things like criminal justice reform and political ethics.
So who should sign up for this event?
Anybody that's interested in how to be a leader on making systems and policy change in this region.
Okay, that's awesome. So that's very broad, and
yes.
It sounds like the speakers that you've got lined up are going to be very interesting to hear.
Absolutely.
So we've got that event, but you also, through Focus St. Louis, have a program called the Fellows Program. Is that correct?
It's the Impact Fellows program, and it grew out of folks that were graduating from our Leadership St. Louis program. I think we've learned all these things about the region. We really want to plug in and get our hands dirty. We want to make a difference. So the Impact Fellows program is a 10-month program you have to have some leadership experience to be a fellow. It's an application. But then we spend 5 months deep diving into an issue in the region, and then spend 5 months doing a project to move a needle on those issues.
And the current project and conversation is about?
The regional healthcare safety net seen through a racial equity lens. Okay. So for instance, they're talking about things like permanent supportive housing for the unhoused, where one of the most common reasons for persistent being unhoused is behavioral or addiction issues. So how do we not just get them into a home, but provide the wraparound services that are going to allow them to stay there and be successful? Okay. Other issues they're looking at are things like maintaining that entry-level medical workforce, like medical assistants, that provide so much of the important medical care, but they're at the low end of the pay scale, and they have a lot of trouble kind of keeping those folks in the job, training them, making sure that they have what they need. So they're working on workforce issues, all kinds of ways to make our healthcare safety net in the region stronger.
And the applications for next year's program that's going on right now, is that correct?
Yes, applications are going to be opening up here. I think they're open right now, and the application deadline is the end of May. If you have any questions, take a look at the website, email me, I'm on there. I'd love to talk to folks about it.
So what kind of people should apply?
We have folks from leadership in all areas. We have folks from the corporate world, we have elected officials, we have people from the nonprofit world. But if you've got a little leadership experience under your belt, because we're not going to be doing kind of leadership development. That's what Leadership St. Louis is about. We're going to take you and give you as an opportunity as a leader to dive into an issue, pick a project, and make a difference on that issue.
Do you want to talk about the issue that's on the slate for next year?
The issue for next year, absolutely, is workforce development. Specifically with an eye of thinking about employment and workforce development as an off-ramp on the pipeline to prison. So we think about vulnerable populations, African American males 18 to 25, women, especially women of color. We have one of the fastest growing rates of female incarceration in the country here. But also thinking about post-incarceration, when folks are trying to re-enter the community. We want to lower that recidivism rate by making sure that they enter the workforce as productive members. There's all kinds of ways we can support folks to do that and remove barriers for them to do that.
Okay, so that's coming. So applications are ongoing right now and through the end of May.
Yep.
And then we've got the event coming up on March 29th.
Absolutely.
Any other ways that people should be plugging into Focus St. Louis?
Our What's Right with the Region event is coming up May 16th, which really showcases some of the best things happening in St. Louis, right? We're a lot of times negative about what's happening here. I like to say we have the problems of the country kind of boiled down to a nice concentrated stew here in St. Louis, which also means we can really be a petri dish for interesting and innovative solutions. And the What's Right with the Region event highlights and showcases some of those solutions.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. The petri dish. Here we are, right here in St. Louis.
That's right. We're growing solutions.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Wally, for being with us today. For more information, visit focus-stl.org. And there's more STL Live after this, so please stay with us.